Shalom. I'll start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Your brother Rabbi Nab coming out with another lesson, Lord's will, edifying to the Lord's elect. Hopefully it's not too windy and it's not blowing into the microphone so y'all can hear me. This is live updates. Hurricane Melissa nears landfall in Jamaica and will bring catastrophic winds. So there's a hurricane coming. And these hurricanes are getting worse and worse, man. We just had another hurricane. We was dancing with the other hurricane down there. Now the Lord's sending a category 5 through there. And this ain't gonna end to the end of November. Isaiah 26. And what's that precept? I can't even find it. Nope, that ain't it. Lord has his favor in the whirlwind and in the storm. Something like that. I'll just type in whirlwind as a matter of fact. Whirlwind. I know it's in Isaiah. It might be Jeremiah. Where is it? Yeah, Isaiah 25. Nope. Oh, Isaiah 29. Where am I? Isaiah 26. Okay, I'm in the wrong chapter. I thought it was Isaiah 26 and 9. It's Isaiah 29 and 6. Okay. It says, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts, the Lord in all caps is Yahweh, and it means he exists. This is how he gonna visit you, okay? With thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. So that's how the Lord will visit your ass, man. Category 5. I don't know what the highest category of hurricanes is, but it's probably 5. Well, let's see. What's the strongest category of a hurricane? Category 5, and that's what it says. Hurricane Melissa officially becomes strongest storm in the world this year. The Category 5 hurricane is unleashing catastrophic winds and torrential rain as officials urge everyone in Jamaica to stay indoors, shelter in place. So we're talking about Benji. Benji, are you Jamaicans, man? West Indians I have on my list there. Genesis 49. Let's see what your forefather prophesied about. Genesis 49 and let's see. Genesis 49 and 27. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the actually, did I miss something? Naphtali. Yeah, at night he shall divide the spoil. So long story short, when he's ravening like a wolf, you know, we were taught that that's Benjamin singing those songs. talking about the destruction of Babylon, Benji tends to do that more so than any other nation. All right? But the Lord's going to allow him. You almost got hit by a damn car, ain't paying attention. The Lord's going to allow Benji to get the victory. Ultimately, he's going to let all Israel get the victory. Okay, that's dividing the spoil. Good morning. That's him dividing the spoil. All right. And it says, Genesis 49 and verse 27. Again, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is that their father spake unto them and blessed them every one according to his blessing. He blessed them. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people, bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre in the land of Canaan, which Abraham brought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for possession of a burying place. Okay, so that's what Jacob was telling his sons before he died. Okay, and this, we use Genesis 49 and Deuteronomy 33 as indicators of how we get our who we are. But it's all through the Spirit. It's not easily. This is meat. This is meat for those who can digest it. For those who have ears to hear. Brothers that have plenty of videos on it. Deuteronomy 33. And 12. And of Benjamin he said, the beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him, and the Lord shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. And so the Lord's been protecting Benjamin, the land of Jamaica, man. He's been protecting them. Ultimately, that's part of his blessing, especially where he's at. They've done been through plenty of storms, but the Lord's protecting Benjamin. All right? That's why he put them over there, man. They, even though this Category 5 is going to probably tear some shit up over there in Jamaica, they're still going to be all right after this. They're still going to be all right after this, but this is still a sign that the Lord is He's manufacturing these weapons. This is the Lord's storm, man. He might break whatever the Category 5 is and send something much worse than that. When you look at the meteorologists, they were showing you like they drove a plane into the heart of Melissa. They call it a stadium effect. Absolutely, it's beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. But it's destruction too. And so it shows you that balance that the Lord operates in. He's a balanced power, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Jamaica comes out of this pretty good. You know, the news will have you tell it like Jamaica's gonna be gone after today, after the storm today. We grab that Proverbs 11. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Okay, so a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. So he deals with just balances. You know, a fair and equal exchange, that's fair to the Lord. And you can see that within his creation. Especially this Hurricane Melissa, in the middle of it, it's gorgeous, it's peaceful, it's pleasant to look at. And then outside of that, it's the opposite. See thunder, you see dark clouds, rushing winds, and it's the opposite of that in the beginning. It's like heaven inside of there, man. It's a peaceful day. That's why the Lord tells you to stand still when he brings the storm, man. Because if you stand in the middle of the storm, you're going to be all right. You run up out of that hedge, man, you're going to get destroyed. So this is why we should trust in the Lord. grab that, another precept. Ecclesiasticus. The Lord said he makes 2 and 2. One against another. One against another. I don't know why I put it. I should have just Googled it. Let's see what pops up. Let's see if you know. Ecclesiasticus 33. Am I done with that? Done with that. Ecclesiasticus 33. Also known as Sirach 33. I'm going to start at the top. It says, there shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, but in temptation, even again, he will deliver him. Even in temptation, the Lord said he'll deliver you. So you got to fear the Lord. No evil shall happen to those who fear the Lord. This is why we fear the Lord. Okay, when you fear the Lord, y'all say y'all love the Lord tells you to fear him. Okay, there's a difference between fear and love. If you fear somebody, you're going to obey him. If you love somebody, you'll take it for granted. You get it wrong. He tells you in John 14 and 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. So if you love him with your mouth and you ain't doing what he told you to do, then you're not gonna be delivered in the time that we're talking about. And that's what the Christians do. They say they love the Lord, but they don't keep John 14 and 15. Okay, they think the law is done away with when he literally tells you in Matthew 5 and 17 that if you come not to destroy the law but to fulfill, you better get the understanding of that precept or your ass is going to die thinking that you ain't got to keep the law. That's why it tells you in Hosea 4 and 6 that my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Some of these precepts, if you don't have to understand it, you'll get your ass killed, man. Thinking that you operate in righteousness, and you're not. You know? Another precept they like to break down wrong. You think if somebody smacks the shit out of you, you think turning the other cheek is that's not what the Lord's talking about, man. That doesn't justify you not defending yourself. Why did he tell the disciples 2 swords is enough? What do you think he told them that for, man? If he didn't want you to, if he was not gonna, he's literally gonna come in and destroy and take the crowns off the heads of everybody, and you think he ain't gonna, come on, man. Lord ain't messing with you. This is why you gotta get the proper understanding of the scriptures, or you're gonna be out here getting smacked up, getting stabbed, and all types of shit, man, and not defending yourself because you think some false ideology, man. That's why you can't operate. How you doing today? Good morning. You can't operate off the precepts of men. You know? Hey, Shalom Alak Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Barakatah. Isaiah 29 and 6. Khan. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts. That's the spirit with thunder and with earthquake and with great noise and storm and tempest and flame of devouring fire. And the Lord is going to visit you again with that flame of devouring fire. It tells you in the book of Hebrews that he is a consuming fire. I think that's Hebrews 12th chapter, last verse, or 13. And it's right. Grab that. Hebrews, I think it's 12. Yep, Hebrews 12, verse 29. For our God is a consuming fire. Okay, that's why brothers tell you when the flames hit, that these spirits are going to be within the fire, and they're going to torment you, man. It's not going to be like a quick death, man. You're going to get burnt up. You might even burn you up to the point where you get to see different shit in the fire. When you watch a stubble burn, you see shit in the fire, man. You see things and shit in there, man. So imagine what type of shit you're gonna see, man. You might even slow it down so you really get the full effect of the fire. 'Cause that's what he is. That's terrible. That's pretty much it. I don't want to keep getting all the precepts on fire. Isaiah 28 verse 2, behold, the Lord have a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand. So that's how the storm also represents these other nations on how he brings forth judgment. That's what he does, man. He sends that storm. Ultimately, it's judgment, but it can come in. The storm can be a representation of a military coming in like a storm. So they're both can be used interchangeably. Nahum 1 verse 2, God is jealous, and the Lord Yahweh revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, which are his enemies, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies, which is Esau, Edom, and the rest of these heathen nations. Nahum 1 verse 3. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. The Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, have his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. That's right. That's right, they're the dust of his feet. So he controls all these storms and things like that. All right? Ecclesiastes 33 and verse 2. A wise man hateth not the law, but he that is a hypocrite therein is a ship in a storm. That's right. A wise man hateth not the law, but him that hate the law, you're like a ship in a storm getting tossed to and fro, believing whatever, you know? You don't want to be like a ship in a storm when it comes to the Lord sending forth his judgment. You want to be firm-footed, steadfast in his truth, man, and knowing what he wants you to do. Ecclesiastes 33 verse 3, a man of understanding trusteth in the law, and the law is faithful unto him as an oracle. Oracle goes into prophecy. Okay, let's look at this word oracle. Some type of foresight. Okay, define oracle. A priest or priestess acting as a medium, though whom advice or prophecy was sought from the gods in classical antiquity. Look at another definition. A responsive message given by an oracle, typically one that is ambiguous or obscure, a person or thing regarded as an infallible authority or guide on something. Okay. Oracle in the Bible. A divine communication or revelation, any person or thing serving as an agency of divine communication, any utterance made or received as authoritative, extremely wise or infallible oracles, the scriptures, the Holy of Holies of the biblical temple built by Solomon in Jerusalem. The oracles, the scriptures. The scriptures are an oracle, okay, which give us divine truths, okay? Prepare what to say, and so shall be. Prepare what to say, and so thou shalt be heard. And bind up instruction and then make answers. So you got to learn this truth before you speak. You got to understand this truth first. You know, it even tells you in about your phylacteries, man. It's a form of remember keeping the law. Okay, just like your fringes are a form of remembering to keep the law. All right. Ecclesiastes 33, verse 5, the heart of the foolish is like a cartwheel, and his thoughts are like a rolling axle tree. Okay, you're like a wheel, man. going wherever the wind takes you. When you're not in this truth, man. When you're not firm-footed in the prophecies and the understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Ecclesiastes 33 verse 6, a stallion horse is as a mocking friend. He nigheth unto everyone that sitteth upon him. Stallion horse is as a mocking friend. He nigheth upon everyone that sitteth upon him. And you like a beast, man. Let's get that understanding. See what it's talking about. Ecclesiastes 33 verse 6 meaning. Verse uses a horse or stallion as a metaphor for a foolish or unstable person, especially a mocking friend. Just as a horse that is not disciplined will nigh and act out under anyone who rides him, a mocking friend is unreliable, easily swayed and disrespectful. He lacks control and does not have true loyalty. His behavior changes depending on who's in control at the moment. He's just like a beast, man. No discipline, no self-control, lacks understanding. Okay? And that's also going with the going to and fro, man. You one way over here, then you one way over there. You gotta be aware of that. A lot of people have respected persons. They like to act one way with one person, and then they go somewhere else. They act completely different. You gotta watch out. People like that. Those people don't know how. They don't practice discipline and being. They really don't know who they are, man. They just go along to get along. You know, people like that, man. They're gonna screw you over. They're gonna screw you over, man. All right. Ecclesiastes 33, verse 7. Why doth one day excel another, whenas all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? One day excelling another, man. They're pretty much all the same, but you know, it depends what you do with those days, man. You might think it's okay, today's the Sabbath, so no, every day you gotta be glorifying the Lord, man. Let's see what this means, though. Let's see if I'm right. Ecclesiastes 33, verse 7 meaning. The verse begins a section where Sirach reflects on the difference established by God in creation. Even though on the surface all days seem the same, it asks a rhetorical question. If every day gets its light from the same sun, why are some days greater or more special than others? The answer given in the following verses 8 and 9 is that the Lord himself has set differences between times and seasons, appointing some days as holy, others for labor, and some for judgment or rest. I can see that. You know, the sun constantly be giving its light, but at the same time, yeah, you're still supposed to obey the Lord. That obedience with the Lord. Even though some days are appointed to do other things, like the Sabbath day, like these high holy days, you know, but at the same time, like he tells you in Samuel that he rather obedience rather than sacrifice. So being obedient is more acceptable to the Lord than you keeping the whole holy days and not being obedient. And a lot of that is the reason why we're in the position that we're in as a nation.
Whole entire random
1 Samuel chapter 16. 1 Samuel 16. No, it's 15. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 22. And Samuel said, "Have the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams." Okay, so obedience obedience is important. Obedience when you're every day, even on the high holy days, be obedient. And practicing the righteous acts is also a form of being obedient too. I'm not putting a difference between the two. Read it again. Ecclesiastes 33:7. Why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished. And he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them have he made high days and hollowed them, and some of them have he made ordinary days. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of the earth. So he's separated by the high holy days, which I don't practice anyways. Okay, the Lord didn't establish Easter for the Israelites to do that. That's for the heathen. High holy days for Israel to remember who they were. Passover is not for everybody to celebrate, especially the heathen nations. They're not supposed to be celebrating. They do it wrong. They doing it to a false god, you know. But that's for us, man. These are our customs that the heathen are doing wrong. Nowhere in the Bible tells you to keep the Sabbath day on Saturday. There's no Saturday in the Bible. You gotta go by the moon. And through this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you would understand that. And then you would try. You got apps. We look at apps. But the scriptures also tell you, man, if your ox is in a ditch, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. But you still gotta do your best, man. You still gotta do your best. We ain't got all the day long to be down here living like the rest of the heathen, man. They got their time, and then that's it, man. This is their time right now. And then after that, they through. They're through, man. That's why that this is gonna be a no snap November 1st, man. No snap November 1st. We're gonna see how people like that. And then it's gonna keep deteriorating from there. He's gonna give you your snap back, but he's gonna give you an MOTB to take it. He probably ain't gonna let you go into the stores while he's renovating your carts to make them digital. So by the time he does open the doors, you're gonna need an MOTB, or you're gonna need some type of digital interface, something digital in order to interact. You're gonna have to be logged into something. Some type of digital program Esau's trying to whip up. And all of it's a prelude to the MOTB. You know, this is all prerequisite for you to take the chip. So if you ain't watching that as it's increasing, you're not gonna see why you're gonna need to take it. If you don't have this knowledge, you're gonna think it's all right to take it. He gonna be using the celebrities to make it seem like it's the coolest thing on the planet Earth to take the radio frequency identification. It's gonna seem cool to you. He's gonna tell you, oh, look at that, look at the beast. They all had it for years now. Ain't nothing happened to them. It doesn't have the effect that you think it does. That's what and he's gonna use the beast to make an example. That's how he does all this medication. He practices it on lab rats and shit. But now you're the lab rat. You're the beast. Then he's gonna turn on his 6G network. And then you know it's almost time. It's only so long that all of that, those frequencies, your body's gonna allow you to do that. Because if you take that, you probably got the jab shot. You probably got up to date with your jab shots. The diet probably all messed up. Probably eat all types of shrimp, crab, and lobster. So your whole body is you're already an abomination to the Lord. So by the time you take the MOTB, you're gonna be fully primed. You'll be ready. All right. Ecclesiastes 33:10. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. Earth is dust. It's like he tells you in Genesis 2:6. Put the breath of life inside of him. He was created from the earth. What color of his dirt? It's brown, not white. Esau make you think that he's the first man. Esau make you think that he's the Most High God. He's the God's son. No, he's not. He's actually the devil. He's the spiritual, he's the physical manifestation of the spiritual being Satan. And he's red, by the way. Going to Genesis 25th chapter, he's a red man. All right, he bears the mark of Cain. Okay, Ecclesiastes 33:11. In much knowledge, the Lord has divided them and made their ways diverse. Yeah, so he made man from the dust of the earth. Okay, but Adam means like the men who were Adam is talking about let me get it in when you look at the word Adam, it means first man, mankind, and red. When you go into the etymology of it. So it's refusing the man. Came from the dust to the dust. That's all we are, man. We're just dust, man. Dirt. Until we get the new body, we ain't nothing but dust. Okay. Ecclesiastes, in much knowledge the Lord had divided them and made their ways diverse. So he divided us through our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's why the heathen, they got their own wisdom. You know, Israel was given this wisdom, which is the law, statutes, and commandments on how to serve the Most High God. So that's why we're diverse. That's why we're considered holy. Okay? And I think it explains that more so in Ecclesiastes 24th chapter. So there. Ecclesiastes 24. Wisdom shall praise herself and shall glory in the midst of her people. Wisdom is being referred to as a woman, and the wisdom from the Lord, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, is to dwell with her in the midst of her people, which are the Israelites. In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth and triumph before his power. The congregation of the Most High. Okay? That's where wisdom dwells at. The Lord has control over wisdom. I came out of the mouth of the Most High and covered the earth as a cloud. So the Lord came out of the mouth of the Most High. That's what wisdom is. I dwell in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar. A cloudy pillar. Okay? Clouds are referred to as the chariots of Israel. Wisdom is all over the place. I alone compassed the circuit of heaven and walked in the bottom of the deep. Compassed the circuit of heaven So it's everywhere, man. All throughout the earth, all throughout the deep waters, all throughout the universe. In the waves of the sea and in all the earth and in every people and nation, I got a possession. So in every nation of people, that's the Lord making his wisdom diverse. Okay? But it came from the Lord. With all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide? So how should she abide? Looking for a place of rest. Okay? She went into every nation. That's why they have an understanding of some things. You know, they don't go off on everything. Some of their rituals are weird. Elam's having a ritual right now. I think he's running around putting cow dung all over himself and jumping in cow shit, man. That's a heathenistic. He's a heathen. He's a dumbass heathen. You know, he praises the cow like a fool. All right? He's a foolish man, dumbass, and he's your head of the director. He's the FBI director. I think he's doing a good job. He's the same damn fool that was up there running. Your FBI director probably put dung on his head too. Stupid ass. Dumbass heathen, man. Ecclesiastes 24:7, with all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide? So the creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thine inheritance in Israel. So that's where wisdom dwells, within the Israelites. And this is where it's at. It's in this book. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail. So wisdom was created in the beginning, before the world, and it shall never fail. In the holy tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Zion. Okay, Zion, talking about your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Zion talking about supposed to be a reflection of this wisdom that Ecclesiastes is talking about, that glorifies the Lord. This is your wisdom in the sight of all the nations, according to Deuteronomy 4, verse 6. Ecclesiastes 24:11. Likewise, in the beloved city, he gave me rest, and in Jerusalem was my power. Okay, that's the beloved city. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Ecclesiastes 24:12. And I took root in an honorable people, even in the portion of the Lord's inheritance. The portion of the Lord's inheritance is talking about Israel. Read about that in Deuteronomy 32, I believe. Deuteronomy 32. Check this quoted it. Deuteronomy chapter 32. 7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So that's talking about. His inheritance are you Israelites. Read that again. Ecclesiastes 24, verse 12. And I took root in an honorable people. Honorable people talk about the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, even in the portion of the Lord's inheritance. Deuteronomy 32 tells you who the Lord's inheritance is. It's the Israelites. I was exalted like a cedar in Libanus. Libanus is Lebanon. Lebanon is known for its trees, beautiful cedar trees and things like that. And as a cypress tree upon the mountains of Hermon. Hermon's in Israel. And it's a huge mountain. All right? It tells you in Psalms 133:1. Let's go there. That's how wisdom was exalted. I think Hermon's like the highest tree over there. Psalms 133:1, a song of degrees of David. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And we dwell together in unity under the banner of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments. You know, you got to think Aaron was arrayed with the garment of the high priest. And the oil being poured on him is the anointing oil. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew descended upon the mountains of Zion, for there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. So that's where he commanded the blessing. Okay? To give us the blessings as well as the curses. Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Ultimately the promises. Okay, that we were going to dwell on high forever. And that hasn't been fulfilled yet, but it's going to be. Ecclesiasticus 24, verse 14. I was exalted like a palm tree in En-Gadi, and as a rose plant in Jericho, as a fair olive tree in a pleasant field, and grew up as a plane tree by the river. Just like it says in Psalms, the first chapter. You know, the trees are representation of different nations or people. Okay, but planted by waters is this. Let me just grab it. Psalms 1:1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, and in his law doth he meditate day and night, and he shall be like a tree. He shall be like a tree, showing you that the trees are like unto people. Planted by the rivers of water, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. Meaning you're gonna be bearing fruit, okay, of this wisdom. All right. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. And whatsoever he doeth shall prosper, because just like he told Joshua, in order to prosper, you got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's grab that. It's the book of Joshua, chapter 1, and verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, and thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Okay, so you got to keep the law. All right, Ecclesiasticus chapter 24 and verse 15. I gave a sweet smell like cinnamon and apollodus, and I yielded a pleasant odor like the best myrrh, a galbanum and onyx and sweet storax, and as fume of frankincense in the tabernacle. And that's what we're doing now. Now we're the tabernacle, putting up praises to the Lord, these spiritual sacrifices. I believe it goes into that in 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter. Okay, but what we're doing is putting up that spiritual sacrifice, and it's a pleasant smell to the Lord because we have the proper understanding of the scriptures. Ecclesiasticus 24 and 16. As the turpentine tree, I stretched out my branches, and my branches are the branches of honor and grace. Exactly. In the Lord, these branches of wisdom, all right, are is how we get this truth, man. The branches are a representation of how the Lord is extending his wisdom. Okay? It tells you in John 15, I am the vine, ye are the branches. The only reason why we are the branches, if we're part of that number, is because the Lord is sharing his wisdom with us. And us operating under the law, statutes, and commandments is what's keeping us abiding with it. This is how the wisdom is being spread through the branch. All right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 24 and verse 17. As the vine brought I forth a pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches, which is this wisdom. And the wisdom will bring you to honor and riches, which is the tells you in Wisdom of Solomon, I believe the 6th chapter. As the vine brought I forth pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches. I am the mother of fair love, and fear and knowledge, and holy hope. I therefore, being eternal, am given to all my children, which are named of him, which is the nation of Israel. Which is our mother, which is this wisdom. All right? Ooh. Chilly out here. I should have bought some gloves. Ecclesiasticus chapter 24, 19. Come unto me, all ye that be desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. Okay, fill yourselves with my fruits. Which is going into wisdom. Like 8 of the fruit. The fruit is talking about wisdom. On the left hand side though. That's what caused her to die. Because Matthew 6:23. Wages of sin is death. Ecclesiasticus 24:20. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and my inheritance than the honeycomb. Honey and the honeycomb is symbolic of wisdom. Okay? Because it's sweet. It tells you in Revelation, the 10th chapter. It's sweet. This wisdom's like bitter and sweet. But it's all talking about the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. Right? I'm trying to think of the precept. I think it's 1 Samuel 14. I'm thinking of Jonathan's victory. He wanted to put him. Let's do it. 1 Samuel 14:24. And the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I may be avenged on my enemies. So none of the people tasted any food. And all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were come unto the wood, behold, the honey dropped. But no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in a honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Okay? So there you go. Honey is symbolic of wisdom. His eyes were enlightened. There you go, man. Ecclesiasticus chapter 24, in verse 21. They that eat me shall yet be hungry, and they that drink me shall yet be thirsty. And that's why he was enlightened. Okay? When the honey was dropping, the honey's dropping right now. Everyone can taste of the honey. The honey's not for everybody. Not everybody can get the knowledge. Alright? Even though the Lord sends people out to teach, it's not for everybody to get. Ecclesiasticus 24:21. They that eat me shall yet be hungry, and they that drink me shall yet be thirsty. He that obeyeth me shall never be confounded, and they that work by me shall not do amiss. So you're not going to be confounded having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It's going to meet you in all your thoughts. That's why we're hoping that by eating the honey, that we stay enlightened. We just keep eating it. We still keep eating it, man, until the Lord brings us to a kingdom. Ecclesiasticus 24, verse 23. All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High God, even the law which Moses commanded for an inheritance unto the congregation of Jacob. Jacob's Israel. The Most High God gave him a covenant, okay, on Mount Sinai through the Exodus, after the Exodus in Egypt, through Moses. Ecclesiasticus 24, verse 24. Faint not to be strong in the Lord, that he may confirm you. Cleave unto him, for the Lord Almighty is God alone, and beside him there is no other Savior. So you got to cleave unto him. That's what we're doing. We're cleaving unto him by doing what he told us to do. Okay, and enduring until the end. Ecclesiasticus 24, verse 25, he filleth all things with his wisdom, as Pison and as Tigris in the time of the new fruits. He maketh the understanding to abound like Euphrates, and as Jordan in the time of the harvest. He maketh the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light, and as the Gihon in the time of vintage. Exactly, so just like the rivers that were around the Garden of Eden. You know, that's like you being planted by the rivers of water constantly, you know, on every corner, on every side. You being nourished with water, which is wisdom. Ecclesiastes 24, verse 26, he maketh the understanding abound. I already read that. Verse 27, he maketh the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light, and as the Gihon in the time of vintage. The first man knew her not perfectly, talking about Adam. No more shall the last find her out. Okay. For her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels profounder than the great deep. Because even Yahweh Shai doesn't even know when he returns. When okay. He's the first and the last. Because ultimately, wisdom comes from the Most High. So that's another precept that shows you that the Lord is separate from the Son, obviously. But they teach differently. The Most High God has a son named Yahweh Shai, okay? And through him, he created all things. But the world will teach you something different. Right? Ecclesiastes 24 and 29, for her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels profounder than the great deep. Just like it tells you in Romans 11 and 33, the depth of the riches of heaven, they're just so deep. I mean, they're just so much knowledge, man. And we're gonna have access to this knowledge and we'll change. Romans 11, verse 33, oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of the Heavenly Father, how unsearchable are his judgments and his ways past finding out. Because he knows everything. Ecclesiastes chapter 24, and verse number 29 again, for her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels profounder than the great deep. I also came out as a brook from a river, and as a conduit into a garden. I said, I will water my best garden, which are the elect, and will water abundantly my garden bed. And lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea. Right? Just like this word, man. More people are waking up to the truth. More people are teaching. Just like in the book of Ezekiel, I believe the 48th chapter, when that flood of water started to come out. It started small, to your feet, then it went to your knees, and then half of his body was in the water. So now the water's going out like a flood. I will yet make a doctrine, Ecclesiastes 24 verse 32, I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning, and will send forth her light afar off. I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy, and leave it to all ages forever. Behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom. And that's what you should be doing, seeking wisdom. Ecclesiastes chapter 33, in verse 11. In much knowledge the Lord have divided them, and made their ways diverse. And he just went into wisdom, dealing with the nation of Israel. Okay? That's who he's dealing with. Some of them have he blessed and exalted, and some of them have he sanctified and set near himself. But some of them have he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. So he blessed us with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and we went off and we were cursed. Okay? Just like Esau. Esau's cursed. Esau was given knowledge on the left-hand side. And he's ultimately cursed. We got curses on us for our disobedience, but Esau is cursed. He's cursed with the judgment of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. There ain't no getting away from that. He's prospering now, but in order to receive a judgment that's worse than any other nation has ever received down here on the earth. That's what he's cursed with. I'd rather have curses on me that is eventually going to be taken off than to have all the luxury of the world temporarily and then to be destroyed. Because you won't even be able to enjoy those riches really like that when you know it all comes to an end. Ecclesiastes chapter 33. Verse 13, as the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it as his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as liketh him best. So the Lord can do whatever he wants with his creation. Ecclesiastes 33 and 14, good is set against evil and life against death, so is godly against the sinner and the sinner against the godly. Going back to the Lord, Proverbs 11 and 1. Okay, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. And a lot of y'all believe in false balances. You believe, oh, I just love the Lord and that's it. Lord doesn't hate. That's a false balance. Okay? You're off. Your doctrine is off, man. And that's why we try to warn you, try to tell you to even out the balances, but for a lot of you, it's not going to be the case. Ecclesiastes chapter 20, chapter 33, and verse 15. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. And you can see upon all the works of the Most High, there are two and two, one against another. Hot, cold, man, woman, night, day, just like the storm. Just like this judgment, there's going to be this salvation in the judgment too. So just as bad as everything you see, there's a beauty in it all. Okay? There's a beauty in what the Lord is doing in this time. Because at the same time he's bringing destruction, he's also comfort by giving his word, waking us up to who we truly are, and getting us prepared for the day of the Lord. And getting us to do it all that we can to make sure that we make our call on an election sure. Ecclesiastes 33 and 16. I awake up last of all as one that gathereth after the great gatherers. By the blessing of the Lord I profited and filled my winepress like a gatherer of grapes. Consider that I labored not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning. Hear me, O ye great men of the people, and hearken with your ears, ye rulers of the congregation. Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend power over thee while thou livest, and give not thy goods to another, lest it repent thee, and thou entreat for the same again. As long as thou livest and hast breath in thee, give not thyself over to any. For better it is that thy children should seek to thee than that thou shouldest stand to their courtesy. So you gotta stand upon your own feet, man. Long story short, you gotta stand on your own. You don't want to rely on anybody else. Okay, and that also goes for relying on, especially when it comes to the Lord, man. All right, you got to serve him the way he's supposed to be served, not according to the rest of this world, man. And if they don't want to go the way that they should go, then you continue to follow the Lord. Very simple. All right. In all thy works, Ecclesiastes 33 and 22, keep to thyself the preeminence, leave not a strain in thine honor. Salakia, leave not a stain in thine honor. At the time when thou shalt end thy days and finish thy life, distribute thine inheritance. So it's going into something else. You know, when you're about to die, you know, you distribute your inheritance. Sometimes that death come out of nowhere, man. You don't have no inheritance on this side. Your inheritance is in Israel. It's with the Lord. Okay, you're supposed to be given, your inheritance is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You should be teaching, your kids this message. All right? It says, Ecclesiastes 33 and 24, it says, Father, a wand and burdens are for the ass, and bread and correction and work for a servant. If thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest. But if thou let him go idle, he shall seek liberty. So if you got a slave, you got to keep working, man. You got to keep him working, because if your slave ain't working anymore, he gonna seek liberty. He gonna seek to escape serving you. And that's why Esau, according to Exodus, the first chapter, put more of a burden on the Israelites, or the Pharaoh, or the new Pharaoh that got set up, new king or whatever, in Exodus, the first chapter, had Israel make their own brick instead of bringing it to them, because to make it harder on them, so they want to seek the Lord ultimately. Ecclesiasticus chapter 33 and verse 26, a yoke and a collar do bow the neck, so are tortures and torments for an evil servant. So tortures and torments for an evil servant. And an evil servant, that wicked servant, is somebody who has the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and he don't use it. He hides it under a napkin. Okay? It says, send him to labor that he be not idle, for idleness teaches much evil. Yeah, idleness teaches much evil, man. You should be working. You should be working for the Lord, man. If you're not doing the work, man, you learning doing something. You're probably doing evil. Ecclesiastes chapter 33 and 28. Set him to work as it fit for him. If he be not obedient, put on more heavy fetters. Yeah, put on more heavy fetters. And that's what Esau is doing. Putting on more of a burden on you, so you don't seek your Lord. You know? That's why the Lord will purge things out of your way so you can go serve him. Not everybody has the capability of going to serve the Lord as much as they can, because of things responsibilities of the world. You know, the world has more of a stronghold over them, especially as you get older. You got to fight all these things. But some people, they're not willing to fight that battle. Okay. Ecclesiastes 33 and 29. But be not excessive toward any, and without discretion do nothing. Yeah, be not excessive toward any. You don't want to punish them too much. Put too much on them. Okay. Because then you'll kill him, and then he won't be able to serve you at that point. So there's a balance. Just like it says in Proverbs, the 30th chapter. Okay? I'm not going to get it, but. If thou have a servant, let him be unto thee as thyself, because thou hast brought him with a price. So you have a servant, let him be like as that to yourself, man. You got to treat him a certain way. You don't want to treat him too harshly. Ecclesiastes 33 and 31, if thou have a servant, entreat him as a brother, for thou hast need of him as of thine own soul. If thou entreat him evil, and he run from thee, which way wilt thou go to seek him? Exactly, if he run away from you, man, which way wilt thou go to seek him? But I'm going to end it right here. You know, he'll run away. You know, you treat him too bad. End it right here, Lord's will, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak, Badash. Shalom, Apad, Mabal, Kwam Yasharala, and the water for the